Good day everyone, my name is Shayna Rodriguez and today we're gonna talk all about Cavite Mutiny.
So, there are many accounts about Cavite Mutiny, but today we're gonna talk about account of Spanish and account of Filipino. The first account was coming from Jose Montero y Vidal in 1872, which was cited also by Gregorio Zaide and Zonia Zaide. So, Montero says about the Spanish version of Cavite Mutiny was the abolition of privilege enjoyed by the laborers of Cavite arsenal of exemption from the tribute was, according to some, the cause of insurrection. There were, however, other causes. The Spanish Revolution, which overthrew a secular throne. The propaganda carried on by the unbridled press against monarchical principles. A tentative seek of the most sacred respect toward the dethroned majesty, the democratic and republican books of pamphlets, the speeches and preaching of the apostles of these new ideas in Spain, the outburst of the American Republic, and the criminal policy of the senseless governor whom the revolutionary government sent to the Government of Philippines, and who put into practice these ideas were the determining circumstances which give rise, among certain Filipino, to the idea of attaining their independence. It was toward this goal that they started to work, with the powerful assistance of a certain section of the native clergy, who outspite toward friars, made common causes with the enemies of the mother country. We all know that to this account, Montero says that the primary source of Cavite Mutiny was the overthrow of Spanish government. He also says that Filipino was supported by the native clergy. So definitely, he says or referred to the Greek priest, which is the Gomborza. And this is one of the cause why the three priests was executed. Montero added that at various times, but especially in the beginning of the year 1872, the authorities received anonymous communication with the information that a great uprising would break up against the Spaniards. The minute the fleet at Cavite left for the south, and that all would be assassinated, including the friars. But nobody gave importance to these notices. The conspiracy had been going on since days of the Latorre with utmost secretary. At times, the principal leader met either in the house of Filipino Spaniards, D. Joaquin Pardo de Tavera, or in that or the native priest Jacinto Zamora, and these meetings were usually attended by the curate or bacor, the soul of the movement, whose energetic character and immense wealth enable him to exercise a strong influence. So we'll see in this account of Montero that he implemented Father Jacinto Zamora, that they are the one who started the happenings about evolution that happened. And with that, we're going to proceed the second Spanish account coming from Rafael Esquerdo, that also known as Governor Rafael Esquerdo. So Izquierdo says in his account in 1872 that it seems definite that the insurrection was motivated and prepared by the native clergy, by the mestizas and native lawyers, and by those known here as abogadillos. The instigators to carry out their criminal project protested against the injustice of the government in not paying the provinces for their tobacco crop, and against the usury that some practice in documents that the finance department owners who have to sell them at a loss. They encouraged the rebellion by protesting what they called the injustice of having obliged the workers in the Cavite arsenal to pay tribute starting January 1 and the rendered personal service, from which they were formally exempted.
So, based on what we have read, it says that clergy was implicated and also the native lawyer, that they are the brain of Cavite Mutiny. So, before we proceed to the version of Filipino, let's see the detail first. What was really happened? And because of this incident, on February 17, 1872, the three priests was executed. It was done in front of many Filipinos because Spaniards want all of us, every Filipino, realize that it was a threat. Now, let's proceed to the account of Filipino version. So, let's start with the account of Pardo de Tavera. So, Tavera says,
This uprising among the soldiers in Cavite was used in powerful level by the Spanish residents by the friars. The central government in Madrid had announced its intention to deprive the friars on this island of powers of intervention in the matters of civil government and of this direction and management of the university. It was due to these facts and promises that Filipino had great hopes of an end to the affairs of their country.
it is very clear that the account of Tavera is simply incident of Cavite Mutiny, done by the laborers of the Cavite as a form of protest against the leadership. And according to Tavera, the controversies was protest because the governor Izquierdo prohibited them to establish school of arts and trades. So the government of Izquierdo did not allow to conclude a school of trades and arts. And the sad part is the Spaniards, especially that the friars, made use of the Cavite Mutiny to cement the dominance in our country. The friars want to continue their dominance in the matter of the politics and the matters of controlling the educational system of the Philippine island. Now, let's see about the other account and the supported claims of the Tavera. This account is coming from French writer. His name was Edmond. According to Edmond,
General Latorre created a junta composed of high officials, including some friars and 6 Spanish officials. At the same time, there was created by the government in Madrid a committee to investigate the same problems submitted to the Manila Committee. When the two finished work, it was found that they came to the same conclusions. Here is the summary of the reforms they considered necessary to introduce. First, changes in tariff rates at customs and the methods of collections. Second is the removal of surcharges in foreign importations. The third is reduction of export fees. Fourth is permission for foreigners to reside in the Philippines by real estate, enjoy freedom of worship, and operate commercial transport by flying the Spanish flag. 5. Establishment of an advisory council to inform the Minister of Overseas Affairs in Madrid on the necessary reforms to be implemented. 6th is changes in primary and secondary education. 7th, establishment of an Institute of Civil Administration in the Philippines, rendering unnecessary the sending home of short-term civil official every time there is a change of ministry. 8. Study of direct tax system. And the 9th is abolition of the tobacco monopoly.
so that was the dreams of Filipinos. They just wanted the reforms. However, their dreams was ended when General Izquierdo arrived in Manila. Because General Izquierdo didn't like to have the reforms of Filipino, because Spanish government, including the Spanish priors, wanted to continue their political and economic dominance at the Philippine island. And based on the degree in Madrid, there has to be school in Manila, and that was a society of arts and trades to be opened in Manila. So for me, the account of Filipinos are more realistic because the Spaniards themselves were biased in their presentation. The effect, of course, they just wanted to present themselves. And this what the real event occurred. The friars want to use the incident as part of a larger conspiracy. They want to cement their political and economic dominance in Philippine island. If we are going to analyze the account of Filipinos, so the Filipino just want to have an equal right. So that was the end of our discussion today. Hope you enjoy and have a learnings about our discussion about the Cavite Mutiny. So I am Shainar Rodriguez and bye.